Rewatchers Council back live on a Thursday. Woo! We got a brand spanking new season to talk about.
Hmm.
Snark here, of course. Is it even a season 6? If Ferris Muthon isn't here to talk about it, Ferris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Rob. Appreciate you, man. Great to be here.
Well, let's see how you feel come the end of the season. Now,
Okay.
let's go. That's a good season. It's like what do they say about golf? You know
There's
what I mean?
moments.
Yeah, it's like you just need that one moment and stuff, and
Hmm.
like everything's fine. Okay, we're gonna talk about bargaining both parts. Now, when it was aired, it was just one part, so we're not cheating here at all. For
Hmm.
distribution, it's part 1 and 2, and that's how they kind of filmed it. All right, original air date for the beginning of season 6 was October 2nd of 2001. You'll be noticing that there's something that happened that in this episode that would not have happened on October 2nd, 2001 if they were filming the show live. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Turns out they never did. Written by Marty Noxon. She's become now the de facto showrunner. She's uh, running the writers' room, stuff like that.
Hmm.
The other guy a little busy over on the other show, and now that they've kind of split the two networks.
Yep.
She's going to be in there more and more. And the last, he's still the big picture guy. Last one she wrote was Forever. It's another bringing somebody to life story. So
Yes.
Marty Knox has just got a knack for trying to bring Summers ladies back to life. Directed by David Grossman. The last one he wrote or directed, sorry, was Tough Love. That's the one where Glory goes after Tara's brain.
Oh yeah, that
I
was that
remember.
was low. That was gnarly.
Gnarly, but it was a great episode. Okay. The
Hmm.
number one movie to start off season 6. I had to look this one up. I had totally forgot it existed. Don't Say a Word. It's a Michael Douglas movie when he was just putting out basically the same movie every year. You know, one of those
Yeah.
R-rated, dramatic mystery, blah 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 blah.
I
Some
don't
of the
know if
one,
I've ever gotten to the Michael Douglas
the
actor.
oeuvre, the oeuvre.
Yeah, I've never. I don't think I've ever. I think there's Is it Wall Street or is it Glenn Glary, Glenn Ross, where he says greed is good?
That's Wall Street,
That's
famous.
Wall Street. Okay.
Gordon Gecko was the
Mm.
character's name. Basically, some people are still hanging on to it. For God's sakes,
Yeah.
yeah. Oliver Stone wrote that one and directed it. One of the more famous bad guys. He's not an anti-hero at all
Yeah.
that you'll ever want to
Basic
watch the
Instinct.
movie. Basic Instinct, of course, and this like all those are like that's more the erotic
Yes.
thriller. This I don't know. Don't say a word would be erotic. I would highly suggest though The Game. If you ever have a chance, you want to watch a Michael
Okay.
Douglas movie. And Falling Down. Falling Down is fantastic. Okay, some of the movies we missed while they were off. Filming this bloody thing, but turns out they did. There was a very good
Mhm.
chance at one point that they weren't going to, as the last episode was filmed as the finale. Lara Croft. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the only movie ever I forced myself to go to sleep in. Because I hated it so much. I
Oh, you don't like that one?
I
Okay.
couldn't stand it. I didn't mind the last one that came out. It wasn't fantastic, but yeah, just any time. Like Angelina Jolie, if there's just an actress that bothers me for some reason,
Jolie.
it's Angelina Jolie.
Hmm.
Legally Blonde was number one that summer. Jurassic Park 3 was out. Never saw it. Rush Hour 2,
Classic.
pretty good. Pretty good. Planet of the Apes. This is the Tim Burton version.
Oh yeah, no, we don't talk about that one.
It's not ideal.
Hmm.
There was also another movie that hit number one, I believe, only for 1 week
Mm.
that year. Uh, 2001. Can you think of a movie we haven't talked about that would have gone to number one over the summer?
I don't know. I'm blanking.
It was a movie that didn't draw too many eyes and certainly didn't in the future either. It's called The Fast and the Furious. Came
Oh
out.
yeah, 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 son.
with a guy who knows a little bit about
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious. Okay,
How did I not know that, man? I'm ashamed of myself.
you should be. Well, to not know like the date, maybe it came out in the Christmas time. Who knows? I have no idea when that's
I don't
fast.
know movie release
I
dates.
only know now that it was number one in 2001, and that's when it came out. So,
Nice.
and that it makes it older than Harry Potter movies, which is something else I didn't know about. So there you are. It's an
Hmm.
older franchise than Harry Potter, at least in movie form. Number one song in your United States of good old America, "Fallen" by Alicia Keys. There
It's a
you
great
are.
song.
Fantastic. It's the second stint at number one. Usually America doesn't have these songs that drop out of the number one spot and then eventually climb their way up. But it was the number one song back in August as well. So it took a little time. It took some
Hmm.
time to get there. Some of the ones you missed, there wasn't, because there was still, Janet Jackson was still number one for a few weeks after the show went
Hmm.
on hiatus. Lady Marmalade
Oh
came out.
yeah, I like that
Moulin
song. Yeah,
Rouge was out that time.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, you
That's the one with
remind,
that's the one with Eve and no, not
yeah,
Eve.
yeah,
Maya, Christina Aguilera, Pink.
that's right. That's the one.
Hmm. Produced
You,
by Missy Elliott.
there you are. Wasn't she in the video too? I can't remember.
Maybe I
Uh,
don't remember.
you Remind Me by Usher was the number one song then.
That's pretty good.
And of course, I Don't Think You're Ready for This, Jelly, Ferris. Bootylicious was the number one song
Oh
in the
yes,
summer of
yes.
2001. Okay. The number one song in the UK, I didn't bother with a bunch of them. Like bringing up any history, it's not worth it. But the number one song was worth it at this time. Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Fantastic stuff. And the number one song in Canada is the one that wins the week. Wins the week absolutely. "Knives Out" by Radiohead, one of my favorites. Missed out on "Elevation" by U2, which I can care less about,
Hmm.
and "Pop" by NSYNC.
Nice.
I believe that's the song that does not go to number one in America somehow. I don't think "Elevation" did either for some reason. All right, DVD summary time. Basically, for both, because we're gonna put them all together. As Giles prepares for his return to England, spoilers, the gang secretly prepare to resurrect Buffy with a magic spell, but a group of demons interrupts Willow before she can finish the spell, causing Buffy to return to life, still buried in her coffin. Horrifically, that's all true. So, this was the story of them going over to UPN. The
Hmm.
producers, like Buffy's producers, have been negotiating, and 20th Century Fox have been negotiating with the WB for some time. They want some more money. Come season five, like when it first
Absolutely.
got on, they were just happy to
Sounds
get
about
it
right.
on. Yeah. So WB was paying modestly for it because they took the chance. Just
Hmm.
put it onto the air. Fox wanted more after the 5 years. They're looking for at least double what they were getting.
Hmm.
This is where the WB says, no, no, we're good. We're good. Over at UPN, they had been looking for shows for a while. They had been around for, I think, 4 or 5 years at this point. Always just getting the syndicated stuff, the Star Treks and stuff like that, and it wasn't bringing in any money. They couldn't start up their own programming yet because it just cost them too much for somehow. I have no idea how it would work. Never turns out I never ran a television studio before. Probably should have.
Hmm.
It would have been a fantastic one, I can tell you that. But money wise, I would have no idea what to do. So over at UPN, they had an exec named Dean Valentine. He was busy looking for shows that they can grab and then put on to the network. Give them a little bit of money that's already have it's the existing IP and stuff like that. Now back to the point about UPN being cheap on stuff. Dean Valentine had a couple of employees that had been shopping like this documentary style show around for a little while.
Hmm.
Uh, the UPN would be okay with giving them 7 episodes, but it's a 13 episode series that they wanted to produce. These guys balked. They would not do it, not for any more amount of money. It was just they just weren't comfortable giving them 13 episodes. So these guys went to CBS, and Survivor's been on the air ever since. So you think this is how things work.
Oh, what a
Yes, but
Mm.
where they screw up a year or so earlier, 2 years earlier on Survivor, they said, well, it's like WB is not going to have Buffy around. We can double what they paid. We can push it up to 2.3 an episode. We're going to make everybody happy. And for
Mm-hmm.
them, it isn't spending money. They're making money. It's there's coming in with advertisements already sold just by the name, stuff like that. And they were able to push it all summer. The whole Buffy Lives ad
Mm-hmm.
campaign starts here. It starts out to huge numbers. It's going to tail off. It's going to tail off the
Yeah.
numbers. Turns out UPN was a hard channel to find back in those days.
Yeah, it
Not
was.
everybody.
You're talking about a man who used to watch WWE SmackDown on UPN.
That's what they had. They had
Yeah, they
this.
had
They had
SmackDown. They had
SmackDown and they had Star Trek leading up to Buffy.
yeah,
That
and
was
then
it.
I think Veronica Mars was on there for a bit.
I think that was
Um,
after Buffy.
that was after Buffy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of other shows. Like I think I think it's like the Hewleys, the Parkers were there.
Right.
A bunch of other shows. Half and Half was there. One on one.
All of
Everybody Hates
these.
Chris was afterwards.
All of these.
Dilbert.
Thanks to
That was
Buffy.
before. That was before.
Buffy brings in the eyes to UPN, at least whatever they had. There was nothing there before. It was the marquee for UPN. Buffy
And
the
then
Vampire.
America's Next Top Model was there.
Gotta work.
Yeah.
Gotta work. All right. So they're going to start off with a big bang. They want a big bang. So here we
Hmm.
go. Bargaining 1 and 2 together. They're going to split it up for distribution. Of course, Fox still holds on to the rights for
Yeah.
distribution, which is smart of them. Anyways, so start going through it. Maybe play a little loosey goosey because it's a big episode. We don't want to
Hmm.
keep it about the same amount of time. So starts off just with life in Sunnydale without a Slayer around, without
Yes.
Buffy. So yeah, it's back to the basics kind of stuff. The Scoobies had always done patrolling without Buffy. Like when
Hmm.
she would take off to Los Angeles, or when she went away with her to see her dad and stuff like that, they would take care of it. They aren't rookies at it, but
Hmm.
now they have Spike there. We have Willow now, like a full fledged
Full
witch.
on witch. Yeah.
Also, could be a coach. Like
Maybe.
she's standing up top. She's playing it like a video game, telepathically, conversing with everybody, telling what's in behind corners. Being a huge spoiler. If you tell Xander he goes around this one side of this grave, you'll be able to take
Hmm.
this other vamp up. They have to fight at this first fight. Pretty rotund vampire.
Yeah.
Maybe
Big. It's a big boy.
this
That's a
guy
guard. That's an offensive guard right there. That's an offensive lineman.
this guy never says second to humans.
Hmm.
He says like, oh, maybe I'll take a third.
Yeah. Give me a fourth.
Come on, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Sure. You know, there's plenty of human. You don't have to eat it all tonight. What about the starving vampires in Africa? That's what we got to say when it comes to
Exactly.
someone that large. Anyways, so with this fight, I just find it funny that Spike's having a little trouble with him. I don't know why they're underpowering Spike and all this. Also,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just stake him? Come on, Spike. I guess maybe Spike is a little worried about stakes. Accidents can happen, sure,
Yes. Yes.
but he does set the guy on fire with his cigarette lighter, and that would be just as dangerous for Spike.
Yeah, because he could
Think.
catch on fire on accident.
Yes, of course he
Yeah,
can.
this is a man who killed 2 slayers. One vampire, even a big vampire, shouldn't stop him.
That's right. Yeah, and he's not hungry for Spike.
No,
You
yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? It's pretty remarkable. So, after this fight, you go back to the Summers place. You see there's a new dynamic.
Hmm.
Uh, Willow and Tara have moved into Joyce's room, which is, they move into the master
Hmm.
bedroom here. Uh, Buffy's room is going to be occupied by the also present now that we saw at the fight. Buffybot has been up and running. Willow's had to It's a little bit of
Recalibrate it, fix
yeah.
it up.
She's okay with the robotics. We've already covered that up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Dawn having to deal with this is a thing. You see later on at night, stuff like that. Like they're powered down, they're trying to repair because she got scratched. The Buffybot, you
Yes.
see her snuggling up at night. This can't be good. Like, if you were a psychologist or something like that, I think you'd take one look at this. Oh, this can't be good.
No, no, absolutely not.
This is probably
Detachment issues.
yeah, probably not healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
they've been training the Buffybot to be Buffy, just to keep like her dad is now present in her life again.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't told her dad what's going on. They haven't told anybody, because as soon as they know, Dawn's out of there, and she wants to stay in Sunnydale with everybody. It's
Mm-hmm.
really the only
It's
life she
kind of
knows.
messed up if you
Yeah,
think about it,
sure.
because a man's daughter just died, and you're not going to tell him that she died. You know what I mean? And then you're going to let some robot, take over its life. It's the psychological implications of the Buffy bots. It's tremendous, man. You can see why this show has a Harvard class. The intricacies of human dynamics really show out here because they're not ready to let go.
No,
They're not ready to let
no,
go.
and it's going to come up pretty soon here
Yeah.
that the death was unnatural. They weren't ready for
Hmm.
this kind of thing. So, yeah, and they're young. You keep forgetting they're young. Like Dawn in this is going to be a 14-year-old.
Hmm.
Maybe Giles should know better. Sure, not questioning that. But the others are just 20. Like
Hmm.
they're like these guys aren't old at all. Even though
Children. They're children.
even if Xander's running his own construction crew and he's a carpenter somehow after 1 year, he's gotten engaged, which of course they haven't been able to tell anybody. He just keeps saying, "Oh, it's not the right time yet." And Anya's the one that's getting a little itchy to let everybody know their good news. And he's like, "Well, let's put the brakes on."
Yeah.
People are. It's been months, but they're still grieving. You know,
Yeah. I would drop the good news though.
maybe yeah, like she says, like maybe what they need is good news, and it's like you're exactly right.
Hmm.
They're wallowing
And
in
sadness.
guilt and sadness. They're wallowing in it. Give them something to look forward to. Nope, they won't. But we've also found another thing. Later on, they're going to be over at the. Well, let's talk about the Buffy bot goes over to the parent teacher interview. Like this is a whole
Hmm.
thing. They're very scared. She puts up her hand and says, "Oh, Dawn is here to learn," and everybody just kind of joins right in with everything she says.
Hmm.
Uh, Spike is going to put it well. It's like, yeah, all these people are sheep. It's like, well, one person says one thing, everybody else agrees. So yeah, she just did what everybody else does. They get along just fine there.
He's right.
The
He's
other
right,
thing,
man.
the other thing we learn over at the Magic Box is that Giles has been planning on vamoosing there
Hmm.
for a while. Now, we go back uh, to season. Was it season two, season three? Well, I think season three, the one where they have to poison or give Buffy drugs to power her down and stuff like that. He starts talking about. They talk about the book, the Slayer's book, where it always stops
Hmm.
after a Slayer's or a Watcher's Slayer has been killed.
Yes.
And he says, like, because she says, well, because the story's done. It's like, no, if they're anything like me, they just can't bear it. So I think he's at the point, like, it's done. His work there is done, and
Also,
it's gonna be reminded everywhere he goes that he failed.
and she's died twice.
Yeah, she's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, so she's died twice. There's gonna be new. I don't know if there's gonna be a new Slayer in the next two seasons. So I don't know yet. But last time she died, Faith showed up.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's gonna happen. She
Well,
definitely died. This time, a little bit more gruesome than the other one because she got bitten. But yeah, man, being having to go back to England and then being reminded that you're a failure, it must suck.
let's not forget that the Slayer line runs through Faith.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy has Buffy was the Slayer when she died originally. I'm drawing a blank on what her name is. For God's sake, I think the name is Bianca, but the girl from Jamaica is the one who took over from Buffy when she gets killed by
Oh
Drew.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
when
yeah. I think
Faith
it's
is called.
yeah,
The
Bianca
line,
Lawson. Yeah, Bianca
right?
Lawson.
Yeah, I thought the actress name. For some reason, I can't
Yeah,
think of her name. But anyways, it branches off when Buffy dies by the hands of the Master. The
yeah.
line branched off her. Somehow she retained all her Slayer powers and probably still has the tighter Slayer
Hmm.
powers and stuff like that. But uh, yeah, but it's running through Faith right now. So
Yes.
there's no one else called when she passes away here. Uh,
I have no
but
idea. I don't remember. Is Faith dead? I don't think Faith's dead.
we're gonna move on. So,
Okay.
we're gonna talk about the group, the Scoobies, and those are the two couples, Xander, Anya, Willow, Tara. Their plan, as nutty as this may sound, is resurrect Buffy. You know, this is where it's at. With Joyce, she died a natural death. That's why things can go wrong and
Hmm.
stuff. And Willow saying Buffy's death was unnatural. She should be able to come back
Hmm.
a okay. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, fine. But they're at a point now where it's like they need to get Buffy back if they can, and if they have the possibility to do it, then go ahead. But they don't want to tell Giles.
Hmm.
Giles is going to be the one to try and stop them here. Willow is determined that Buffy is going through hell right now, that she's being tormented. She's being, every moment of her life because of what happened with Angel. He
Hmm.
goes down there, he goes through hell and stuff like that. He's figuring, this is what's going on with her. So, yeah, take care of this. Hopefully, things are going to get better.
Hmm.
So, we're going to see Buffybot later on get into a fight with just some ham and egger. Just some local,
Random.
you know, mouth breathing vampire, some dummy, just a
Well,
random guy.
no, no, no breathing.
Yeah, open mouth gawker of
Yes.
a vampire, easily fighting him. But he goes on the ground. He finds a full bottle, well, an empty full bottle of scotch on the ground. Gets a lucky swing in, cuts her, and notices sparks fly.
Hmm.
So he's like, "Oh shit!" So
You're not real.
yeah, especially when she starts walking into a bunch of crates and stuff like that, talking
Hmm.
about she's got to get herself fixed. So he's gonna take off. Now Spike's gonna find her, bring her back to the magic box, fix her up. You see Giles, and this is when you find out he's having some trouble here because he's gonna train her just the way he was with Buffy, and talking about how she has to get her breathing right, and then finding her chi and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
he's having a little trouble letting go, and he's this where he says like, I think she would have been better off without me and stuff like that. She says that every Slayer needs her watcher, and he goes super maudlin here. He says, "I'm not so sure." It's like, okay, relax, buddy. So that lucky shot guy
Hmm.
goes to as you would as a vampire in Sunnydale, go somewhere way out of town
Hmm. To like some
during
demon.
during the day. He's there uh, just a daytime, getting to a bar well out of town, and hang out with a bunch of demon bikers. It's
Yeah.
a very niche place. I think they're also treating the place fairly respectably. You
It
know.
is their bar. It is their watering hole. You always got to respect your watering hole.
Yep. Yeah. You don't want to get kicked out of that place. How far do you have to go to get to the next one?
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be tough to do. So
Hmm.
he's going to go on and on about how he defeated the Slayer. Slayer's turns out a robot.
Yep.
So the guy he's sitting with is like, yeah, well, you better tell this story to the boss. The guy says, yeah. This is like he's a big man. He's going to go out there. He says, no, this is what I did to the Slayer. She's a robot. The guy's like, oh, So there's no Slayer in
Mm-hmm.
Sunnydale. The guy goes, yeah, that's right. And as payment for being so cool and all that,
It's
I think
murked.
you better patch me up here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I deserve to be part of the gang. This guy, oh yeah, and just pulls his head off, pulls his head clean off his
Mm-hmm.
shoulders here. As
Do
so
you
it's not
think
very friendly.
demons? You think demons hate vampires?
They absolutely hate vampires.
You think? Yeah,
Yeah,
very.
they hate vampires there. So
Why? Like,
they're half.
like
They're only half demon. That's
that's ooh so discrimination.
100%.
Okay, got you,
100%.
got you, got you.
Oh yeah. If you didn't think that demons were bad before, just wait till you
Mm-hmm.
now. You found out they're kind of racist.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible people. Well, they're not even people, just terrible beings.
Yeah.
I think is what you can say. So these guys are all gonna hop on their bikes and make it to Sunnydale. Now, you know
I
what?
didn't know they, making bikes for demons. Shout out
They're
to
just
whoever.
they're just regular bikes. There's
That's a good
some
point. That's a good
motorcycles,
point.
but a lot of them are riding dirt bikes. So I don't know how they're in a gang. You
Yeah,
know,
because only
because
Harley's open here.
well, yeah, maybe there's some leeway for like an Indian motorcycle or something like that. You know what I mean? Some of the
Yes.
classics, but nothing like this. Just some guy on this Yamaha motocross, you know, 4-speed little dirt bike doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, one of the more uncomfortable scenes ever filmed in Buffy comes next, where Willow's going to gather the ingredients needed to bring up Buffy from the grave. One of those things is drawing a baby fawn over
Yes.
to her. Now, in this scene, I'm going to say, you can tell, well, and maybe the last scene too, that they're getting more money on the show. When was the last time you saw Buffy, an episode of Buffy, a scene of Buffy, just filmed in a field, a sunny field? You never do. It's always, anytime they were like outside, it was just a parking lot dressed up. Like that, like all the cemeteries they ever went to in Sunnydale for the last few years since the
Mm-hmm.
beginning was just the parking lot over where they filmed it at Fox. So this one again, and yeah, I know that
That 2.1 million is being put to use.
they're putting it to use. It's not just going in people's pockets, folks.
Yes.
Although there's a lot of it was going in pockets. Now,
Mhm.
Alyson Hannigan is an animal lover and had a lot of trouble, even as everything is, of course, fake. Just a lot of trouble with the scene. Her bleeding out a baby fawn and stuff like that. And she gets back to the magic box. She's a little coy on exactly what she had to do. And she says, "Oh, she had to do kind of black markety stuff and doesn't want to talk about it."
Yeah.
This is where Anya has found the note. Giles is getting out of there. He's heading back overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So they managed to rush over there again. Now, one thing, he's going to fly from Sunnydale to London through Los Angeles. Like he's taking a plane from Sunnydale to Los Angeles. I don't get it. Do many flights happen between spots that are only 2 hours away from each other by driving?
I don't think so, but probably he realized that beats the traffic.
One thing it'll do, yeah. Oh, also good thing because maybe those biker demons were taking up both sides of the roads because I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yeah, yeah.
think they're probably not the best at
I
traffic
found
rules.
out that Fresno has an airport. So my cousin, goes to the Fresno airport, flies from Fresno to the connecting big airports. He doesn't have to drive to the big airports.
Smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think that happens much here because there's just nothing else around here. The
I
closest
think you only have like 2 airports though, Rob.
in Winnipeg, or you mean
Or
Canada?
Canada. Or Canada in general.
more than two. But yes, Winnipeg has the one, and yeah,
I watched a
it,
show called
it takes a while
SkyMed.
to
I
get
watched
over
a show called
your zone.
SkyMed, and
Hmm.
they always flew to Manitoba.
Yeah,
They always flew to Manitoba. It's like, oh, we got to send these people to Manitoba, the bigger hospital in Manitoba.
yeah. They ever say the
Yeah.
town? No.
No, they just say Manitoba.
You know how big Manitoba is? It's
uh,
humongous. It's
yeah,
humongous.
okay,
It's
I
humongous.
think I've heard of Winnipeg. Maybe I think there was a Winnipeg thrown in there. Maybe,
Maybe.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I always heard Manitoba. I have to
They're
rewatch the
probably
show.
they were probably talking like Churchill and Thompson, everything around Hudson
Oh,
Bay.
Thompson. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They had to fly from Thompson to somewhere.
that'd
So
be that'd be
I
an
think they got I think they
interesting
yeah
that'd be an
because
interesting flight.
because the SkyMed people they do like in the northern part of Canada where people couldn't can't get medicine, so they have to fly in, pick them up, fly to Thompson, then go
That's
from
true.
Thompson to Winnipeg.
And there's the ice roads, and there's some communities that you
Yeah,
just can't get to when it's summertime
exactly.
and stuff like that as well. So back to the airport
Yes.
and what we said about things that wouldn't have been able to do this. You can tell it was filmed more than a month prior, is because they were easily allowed to just to run up to where he was at his gate,
Yeah. Yeah.
give him presents, stuff like that. That officially ended. About 3 weeks before this
For release
episode aired.
date.
Yeah. So they all give him little gifts. We get a chance to see Tara do the little grr arg thing. So,
Mhm.
mutant enemy throws their own thing there at the end. So he gets to say goodbye. He has a very nice thing with Dawn and stuff like that. You can call me at any time. An
Mhm.
awkward hug with him and Xander and stuff like that. Sure, all that works.
Yep.
This is the last time he shows up as a regular cast member. Anthony Stewart Head is no longer in the credits after this, but he does show up as the occasional special guest star. And when I say occasional, he's in exactly half of the remaining episodes. So he's actually there quite a bit. You don't get a chance to miss Anthony Stewart Head on the show. He'll be gone
Mhm.
for a little bit. Anyways, then it's discussed whether they should have shared the plan with Giles before he left and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they're like, no. And, Anya's wondering, well, what would happen when he finds out? Well, it just says it. Oh, he's gonna come back. That was it. She knows how we'd roll and stuff like that. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter. So that night, that's when the bikers finally come in. That's what I'm saying. It took them a long time to
It
get
was a
to
long journey.
yeah,
Well,
to
how
get over.
fast was that vampire?
You would think incredibly fast,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd have to think he would have to have been there before the dawn the night before.
Yeah,
And
because
but we also don't know if he drove. He could have very well
that's a
drove.
good point. Yeah, vampires do drive. Angel drives all the time
Yeah,
with the
he
top
drives.
down.
Yeah, well, Spike has the same thing, but he has the welding shields or whatever on the windows and stuff like. Not
Mm-hmm.
conspicuous, not
Yeah.
conspicuous once a bit. They roll into town. They're gonna cause a ruckus
Yes.
around Sunnydale.
Absolutely.
Over at Buffy's gravesite to get ready. Willow starts anointing herself with deer blood, which isn't super cool.
Yelling
Starts,
out Osiris.
yeah, it's just doing her spell and stuff like that. Gets to one point, and kind of freaks everybody out. And she's making herself a little sick. Eventually pukes out a snake. She pukes a snake out.
Hey man, I'll say this, man. I was freaked out,
Yeah, it's
and I was freaked out, and I was also like, "Huh, that's where the money went."
yeah, got snake.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a good time for little Xander Zinger. Say, holy crap, Willow, what did you eat? That would have been fun. But no,
Mm-hmm.
he's too in shock that his best friend is puking out a serpent while all this is going on. Meanwhile, we got the bikers starting to crash and break things and set things on fire and be general ne'er-too-wells. Then you see Buffybot get down there. She's doesn't scare them as much as
Mm-hmm.
maybe the regular Slayer would. We see the guy whip out his claws, the leader guy. Turns out his name is Razor. And it kind of fits with that or whatever, but a little Freddy Krueger-ish. Maybe not with the puns, not with the puns of a Freddy, but and he also has the one on his thumb, for God's sakes. But That would be one of the worst things. Like if you're a demon, like what happens if you're you got a little booger or something like that, and you
And it
just
actually pops out.
you sneeze and how many of
How
his
you cut your
kin?
nose off?
How
Just
many of
like
his kin could have went right through his eye? How many
exactly.
people have died nose picking?
Exactly.
That's something that they teach them when they're kids. You know,
Have to. Have to be.
it's not just
Safety
rude.
safety precautions.
Yeah, it's safety first when it comes to nose
Hmm.
picking around there. It's like it's the old saying as well. It's like you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you better pick your friend to pick your nose, or else poke your eyes out with your own finger.
Exactly.
For God's sakes. So Buffybot eventually is gonna doesn't matter. She gets cut. It's like, oh yeah, she's a robot, but she's still a Buffybot, and starts whipping these guys' asses. And says, well, I'm all injured. I gotta go find Willow Toot Sweet. Get myself a little repair job here. So she's gonna run off. The bikers are gonna follow her, I guess, unless, and maybe this is why they took so long to get to Sunnydale, because Buffybot isn't running at like a super robot speed. She's running at seemingly humanish speed.
Hmm.
Yet the bikers are chasing her when we see at the end. So when they're gonna get to back to the
She's probably lost some speed because of the multiple alterations in the repairs and just damage and wear and tear.
which is fine, but that didn't break their dirt bikes, and I don't know how they didn't catch up to her before. So, anyways, she
It's
gets
true.
she gets to where the ritual's happening here. Willow's saying, let her cross over. It's like Red Rover, let Buffy cross over.
Hmm.
But Buffy Bot shows up with the with those jerk offs on the motorcycles.
Hmm.
They're gonna
Ruins the spell.
the spells ruined. Does not only that
It
destroys that
broke.
the
It
urn of
broke the
Osiris
urn.
is broken. You know,
Not cool.
yeah, and later Xander's gonna say,
I
like,
have
we
to
can maybe
explain to
tape it.
Osiris that it broke.
Yeah, one of the worst things you ever have to do.
Mm.
There's you can say you can tell your dad that you wrecked the car. Not
Hmm.
great. Not a good thing to do. You have to tell Osiris that you broke their urn. Worse, way worse.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yes, the bikers are there. There's mass chaos. The thing's broken. The spell looks like, oh, they screwed up the spell. They got to get out of there. So everybody runs off. But while this is happening, you see Buffy's grave. And then you go
Hmm.
about 6 feet down. And there's a little glow going on there. The same glow that was kind of encapsulating Willow for a bit. And then
Hmm.
this kind of windy kind of stuff. And then you see some eyeballs pop up, which was pretty gnarly.
Hmm.
And then skin starts covering the decaying corpse of Buffy Summers, and she takes a big gasp. And that was the end of that first part. Now, for the second part, they kept Grossman as the director, but they added David Fury to come in and bring this home
Hmm.
here in the second half. You see Buffy Bot again, just starting off big trouble with the gang. The two, like they split, the Scoobies split up. Xander has to carry Willow
Hmm.
because she's been a little KO'd. And then they have Anya and Tara take off. You don't ever really see them much together too much or whatever, so it's nice to kind of get a little bit of those two together at the
The
same time.
in-laws.
We got Buffy. Well, I guess in a way, sure.
Hmm.
The Buffy bot getting pummeled and stuff like that. Then we see Buffy struggling down there. It's you ever been claustrophobic? Ever feel claustrophobia at all? Well, times that by like 100, and that's what Buffy is going
Yeah,
through.
it's
Plus,
horrible, man.
plus,
Being buried alive, one of my worst fears.
it would, yeah. You know what?
Because even if you break out, let's say, even if you break out the coffin, Rob,
Mhm.
the dirt crushes you to death.
There's the dirt, and she'd been down there for a while. This isn't fresh mud. You know what I
No.
mean? This is packed earth at this
Hmm.
point. So, anyways, it was also the same kind of thing happened to the bride, Kill Bill too.
Yeah.
Maybe borrowed a little bit from this episode, except the bride is doing it within 6 inches and stuff like that. And there's a whole training thing. Watch Kill Bill The whole thing is fantastic. Anyways, the urn now is a goner, so Willow has to come to grips that Buffy just isn't going to come back. They tried. Turns out they blew it. And then you go back to the coffin. You see that poor Buffy scratching, clawing her way out of her coffin. Good thing they went a little cheaper. They got the cheaper version of the coffin. It was like she isn't going to need it. Anyway, you know what I mean? She isn't going to show it off to her friends down there. So you can see the padding getting broken away. And then all of a sudden, a little bit of dirt dropping through. And then bikers are now just rolling through Sunnydale.
Destroying everything. Looting, killing.
Absolutely being just jerks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some of the worst jerks you could imagine. You see a couple of them who had to stay behind to go looking for all the stragglers that were around the gray site here and stuff like that, and they're complaining they don't get to go do any looting. It's pretty terrible thing or whatever. And they don't look very hard for these guys. No. It's like we tried. Let's get to looting. What are we doing here? Were we monsters? So they're gonna head out there, but Anya's automatically thinking, "Oh, I just got this magic box. I just got the keys to this place.
Let's go hide there."
Well, she just doesn't want them to go breaking in. Come on.
That too. You gotta,
How are you gonna explain this to insurance? So
absolutely. Well, you can just say we were being looted. Everyone got looted. Look at everybody.
By roving gang of.
Just say a rolling gang of bikers. You don't gotta say they're demon bikers. Just say bikers.
That's true. Now, back at the Summer's place, Spike's grabbing weapons. He's gonna go and check some of this stuff out. Dawn is like at the window. She's like, "You got to get out of there. Like, come on, what do you want to do?" And she says, "Well, what are these guys doing?" Like, these guys are road pirates. And they usually stick around to the backwater kind of burgs. The places that nobody really cares about. It's like unless they find the place that's vulnerable, they're going to stick with it, and that's when it has. It's like vulnerable. Oh boy, and these guys know the truth. It's a good thing that these guys don't work for the school system at all. So I said, well, we got to get out of here. Enough of this. She just wants to wait until she hears from the others and says, well. He says, you are supposed to mind me, young lady. Like, he made a promise and he's going to keep it. And he's been keeping his promise. Like, he is not a paid babysitter at all. He's doing this out of the goodness of whatever kind of goodness in his heart.
Code. It's a code.
Yep. Anyways, so no one's going to come to rescue them. Anyways, and then we see a hand bust through the ground, eventually pulling herself out of her own grave is one Buffy Summers. Buffy is back on the surface of the earth. Looking a little confused.
Those shots. I always love those shots. The punching out of the grave shots. Those are pretty good.
Always remind me when that first thing happens. It reminds me of the, I don't know if you remember the poster for the first Evil Dead with the hand.
Oh, yes.
Always reminds me of that. You get to see, she has to go look at her own tombstone. Now, when she sees this and stuff like that, looking back, it's like, I don't know if she actually knows that's her tombstone. Because I don't know how much she's actually understanding what's going on. She's going through town. She has a confused look about everything. There's fire set because of these guys are not very careful with fires. No. They just don't know about fire safety in that place. The downtown area.
Burn everything to the ground.
Yeah, the downtown's dilapidated. We can see Anya and Tara. They make it back to the store. And they say, "Oh, there's no Willow or Xander here. What gives?" And then get worried. Tara says, "You know what? Don't worry about it. I got this thing." And she does up a little spell, which is you don't see Tara doing spells, especially by herself, very often. But it looks just like that spell that Willow was trying to do in Fear itself, there in the haunted house. Where she's trying to find Oz, which I thought was a nice little throwback and stuff like that, and eventually gets there, and Xander's all freaked out by it, but Willow knows it's Tara. I don't know if it's
a bug. It's a bug.
I don't know if it's Terra. It's more like Terra's homing beacon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they're like, okay, we can follow this back. Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. So we get to see Buffy again going through neighborhoods. Now I read, just reading up some facts about this episode. This episode, where she's going, where Buffy is going through here,
Mm-hmm.
where the car alarm goes off, and that guy comes out with a shotgun and stuff like
Yes.
that, like he's like a good old boy. That is the neighborhood from Desperate Housewives.
Oh
That's
wow.
that's where all that takes place. And like the person who, when that guy jumps out, it's one of the characters' homes.
Probably
So
Eva Longoria's home or someone else's home.
yeah, are you saying that because that's the actress, the only actress you can remember the name of?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking, oh, there's Terry Hatcher, Nicolette Sheridan, and the one that went to prison, Felicity Huffman, I believe, was the other one, right? I think I just won.
All I know is her and that dude from. He appears in Desperate Housewives and Mad Men. In Mad Men, he's the guy who has an affair with Christina Hendricks' character.
Oh,
He's also in Desperate Housewives. He then starts dating Eva Longoria in Desperate Housewives. She like bumps into him, like she crashes into his car.
she
I don't
could
know who
be
the
a,
guy is. I
she could
don't know
be a
who the guy
bike.
is.
She could be one of the bikers here.
Yeah, she was a menace in that show.
Guys, don't hold your breath for the Rewatchers Council version of Desperate Housewives.
Hmm.
That is the complete knowledge of that show that we have. Thank you very much for that, Fares. And Fares just learned 3 other actresses from that. So there we go.
Yes, I
Okay.
did. Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
that's a
John
wrap.
Slattery. John Slattery.
Oh,
That's who it is. John Slattery.
you mean the guy who was like the boss of the show?
Yeah, he was the boss in Mad Men.
Yeah,
But I don't know. He was like running for mayor.
Roger Sterling. You mean that guy?
Yeah,
All
Roger
right.
Sterling. Yeah, Roger
Yeah.
Sterling. But in Desperate Housewives, he was Vic Lang. Victor Lang. He's running for mayor, I think, of that little town. Which is it is what it is.
There you go. So, Buffy, and the alarm's going off. She looks confused. Sees the guy. Uh, he blasts off the shotgun and stuff like that. I don't know how much is he's telling her to get out of there and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I don't know how much you heard because of the car alarm going off, but I guess you heard the blast, so she's gonna take off after that. You see Spike on the road or whatever. It's like we gotta get out of here. I did like the addition of that classic looking Los Angeles Rams helmet that was just
Mhm.
lying in a pile there to give to
Cool.
Dawn.
Looked pretty cool.
Yeah, this is like the actual '60s style stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Fun.
The one bar.
No one
The
bar.
one bar. Yeah.
Yeah, for safety. Ned,
Exactly.
he sees a guy running his bike and stuff like that. This one, an actual proper Harley Davidson. He stands in the middle of the road, grabs something, knocks this guy into Timbuktu, takes
Hmm.
the bike. They're gonna take off out of there. So Willow and Xander finally get back to the magic box. Gang's back together. Let's go get Spike and Dawn. Anya's, concerned that without Buffy, Spike, and Giles, they're just 4 jerks against
Hmm.
an entire
An immortal.
biker gang, for God's sakes. Willow's a little magically drained at the minute, as Xander again has got a present. What about didn't you regurgitate a snake, a living snake? She wants
Hmm.
to know about that, and Willow's like, you know what? Don't worry about it.
Let's move
So
on. Let's move on. It's the past. It's the
yeah,
past.
just forget about it. Buffy's wandering around. She sees little gathering. I don't know if there's a parking lot or what the heck it is.
Hmm.
But turns out our biker nemesis have gotten to the Buffybot. They've
Hmm.
have her chained up. They're gonna give themselves a little present here for becoming or taking over this town. They're gonna draw and quarter the Buffybot.
Crazy. Just ripped her apart.
They're going when people
Rips
say
her apart.
some people say they're gonna go medieval on someone. These guys goddamn did it. So, but before all this busting of limbs apart and stuff like that
Hmm.
happens, she looks through the fire. Buffy's looking at her and sees the Buffybot. I'm maybe a little confused, but the Buffybot looks back too. mouths the words Buffy before this whole thing goes down. She
Mm-hmm.
gets torn apart. First thing Buffy yells or says at all is just her screaming no. Razor's now like, oh, they got how many damn of these robots do they have in this town? So it's time to go get this one. As they now they start searching for the Willow and Xander and stuff like this. They're searching for Dawn and Spike.
Mm-hmm.
Tara and Willow are gonna discuss the spell. She's they're thinking, well, maybe what Tara's saying, this maybe it wasn't supposed to work. Maybe the goddesses are like, this is too much. This is like the forces that they'd have. They just have no right to invoke these forces. For God's sakes. So Willow assumes that. Oh, so you think that I'm at fault for this? She's getting very defensive about her magic usage here. Starting to, at least. So Willow. Anya wants to use this entire time as a chance to spring the engagement on them. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
this would be the perfect time. Look how tense things are. When we lighten the mood, what's a little betrothal news? Again, you're seeing that, Xander's like, hey,
Mm-hmm. Let's
lecturing
calm
on
down.
them.
Let's calm down. You know.
When something pops down in front of them, I don't know why. I don't know, just when walking up would have been just as fine. But a disheveled looking Buffybot. Uh, except Willow is the one that, takes a good enough look, and she gets it and says, Buffy?
Mm-hmm.
And then Xander automatically was like, oh shit, well, that's Buffy. But Buffy's going to run away. They're going to try and catch up. Now, they try and talk to her. There she isn't answering anything at all. They're wondering what's wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with her. She says she's just in shock, for God's sakes. This is
Yeah.
where Tara notices her hands are bloody and how dirty she is.
Mm-hmm.
Then Xander gets it. And I know we've been buddies first for how many years? 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
If you've said it once, you've said it 100 times to me. If you ever bring one of your friends back to life magically,
Yes.
make sure you take them out of the coffin first.
That's a good point.
The cardinal rule. If you're going to bring someone
Definitely
that
dig up
passed
the
away to
grave.
life,
Definitely dig up the grave and
take
definitely
the
open up
time.
the coffin.
Take the time, do it right. No, don't cut corners.
Yeah.
When it does
You don't
something
got to
like,
take them out of the coffin. You just got to open the coffin.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to see. It probably doesn't smell great, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. When you're done the stuff or whatever, you can have a quick wave, hello, and stuff like that. Please shower, get some clean clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been a bit. It's been a bit. You've been in the same clothes for a bit. You know what I mean? So, Xander's going to apologize profusely here. Tara tells him she's way too traumatized to understand anything she's saying. Then Anya says, well, maybe if she knows about the engagement, that'll be able to perk her up. Again, I just love that bit of Anya just wanting to tell anybody here. Xander's going to stop her. Buffy's going to be told she's home now.
Mm-hmm.
During all of this, somehow Razor sneaks up behind them, just as quiet as a mouse. As quiet as a biker demon mouse. How does Razor of all people, just sneak up on someone's conversation and just join in? Pretty.
Yeah, he must be light on his feet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It doesn't look it,
Mm-hmm.
but
That brother tiptoes.
he's a graceful demon biker.
Mm-hmm.
So Xander's gets very aggressive with him quite quickly, which you could admire. Tara is going to push him back with a bit of magical fire, and we get some more magic out of Tara, which is pretty cool. And then they tell them they have a couple of witches, and we got this zombified Slayer over here at our disposal. So maybe Vamoose, maybe beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Razor, time's up. Razor not too shooken up by any of this. Willow's gonna threaten him. She gets a good old uppercut for her sass mouth here. You don't mess with Willow. Anyways, Xander's also gonna get knocked down here too. Razor is going to lay out a horrific plan. Talking about anatomical incompatibilities his boys have with human beings and what may happen when with some amorous advances they may have. Horrible stuff. He's gonna ask.
Yeah, I was kind of like this man. I've seen a lot of bad villains in the show. What I've seen Adam try to rip people apart. I've seen vampires try to bite people, but that's probably the most evilest manifesto I've heard. And we
Anatomical incompatibilities.
yeah, because I think I know what he was alluding to. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to say it.
No,
I'm not gonna do it.
it's a terrible
And
thing.
we had a mayor who tried to kill everybody by being a glue, like a goo.
Yeah.
So you're not a good person, Razors.
No, he's a terrible person.
Horrible human being.
His entire crew is. I would never invite them over for dinner. Not
Absolutely not.
No, I wouldn't.
You know what? Him and his crew seem like people who wouldn't use coasters.
No, no way. They probably pocket the silverware too. This is kind of.
And you know what? I'm a big fan of the coaster. If you don't use my coasters, if you're in my house, well, one, I don't invite people in my house.
Smart.
And two, if I do and you don't use coasters, I'll kick you out of my house.
Yeah, two things there. It's the safest way to make sure you're never vampired in your own home, so you don't invite anybody.
Exactly.
Number two, who wants a water ring on their stuff, especially wood?
That's what I'm saying.
Who's the real monster if they do something like that?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not the monster for kicking you out. You're the monster for not following the rules of my house.
A man once, or a lady once sang about how a hero comes along. That hero is Ferris Mathana. So,
Damn right.
the poor Razor's going to ask, poor Razor. Razor the dumb jerk is going to ask,
Yes.
who wants dibs on all this, all this terror that could happen right away? Buffy just steps up, doesn't say anything, gets punched for it. Like, welcome back, Buffy. You've been here for 15, 20 minutes, whatever it's been. Gets punched in the face. She just absorbs it. Then it's like, instinct. She's going to bring the fight to him. Going to knock him the frick out right there in front of
Pipes and
everybody.
some wood.
Yeah. That starts taking care of his boys that he has there. The Scoobs are going to do their best in helping out. It's one at a time for them. Four of them are on Buffy. At one point, she's going to deal with it. It's back to the huge when it comes to Buffy, it seems, at least physically. Dawn and Spike, you see them biking through town. Dawn, for some reason, just notices something. There's the car fire in the parking lot and a bunch of pieces of Buffybot on the ground. Spike is trying to console her. It's like, she was just a robot. And Dawn is actually pretty mature here. She's like, yeah, I know. Considering she was the one who was sleeping, curled up to it the night before. But turns out there's a tiny bit of juice left in the Buffybot, enough for her to say that Dawn is her sister. And then she says, where'd Buffy go? And he's like, what are you talking about? You're right here. He's like, no. The other Buffy. She was here. Now she's gone. She's like, I wonder where. And then that's it. It's the plug's been pulled on poor Buffybot. That's a series wrap on the Buffybot.
Just a body with some
I'd hate to think.
wires everywhere.
Yeah. I'd hate to think of what Spike would do with the rest of those parts. Anyways,
Robert.
It's not an anatomical incompatibility. So it was always it's a machine anyway. So we're gonna see that the Scooby, taking care of the rest of the demons here, but Buffy's gonna take off. So we're thinking, okay, she's had enough. She's running away as fast as she can. Razor,
she's having PTSD and
she's having everything.
reintegration.
Yeah,
She's scared, she's happy, she's freaking out. It's just everything's happening all at once, and it's really messing with her.
it is. She is getting everything all at once at the
Hmm.
same time. It's a nightmare scenario for. But for speaking of nightmares, Razor has awoken. He's going to attack Xander. Anya, gets pushed out of the way, or gets pushes out of the way. Buffy is going to get tired of running real quick. She makes it about a block away. She stops and she can hear some yelling and stuff like that. But another demon shows up. This one
Hmm.
wearing a pretty cool Judas Priest Defenders of the Faith T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, it takes her 2 seconds before she impales him on some piece of wood. Doesn't dust because he's just a dumb demon, not a vampire. So you
Hmm.
get to see the shirt a little more, which I again appreciated. So Tara, Willow, and Anya are going to come to Xander's aid here. Start beating Razor with a pipe, like a chain, and an aluminum bat. And they're
Hmm.
kicking the crap out of this guy. Good on them. He does knock them down. Willow's going to summon like one of those goo things, like that uh, cockroach
Hmm.
alien demon that was used in Listening to Fear there, that was drops on Joyce or whatever. He throws that in his face. Razor's, we're going to see Buffy now. Notice the tower. Like everything is going to be drawing those people back to this. Why this wasn't torn down in the
Hmm.
months, that maybe people just got something better to do. Like maybe it was in a private property or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Privacy laws, and
There's
you
still
know.
building inspectors. There's no way
Hmm.
someone doesn't go there. Like it's lit. There's lights. There's power to this
Hey,
thing.
I'll say this, Rob. I've seen how slow cities, take to get remove stuff.
Yeah.
So big old, big old Eiffel Tower junk thing. It's gonna take them a minute. It's gonna take them a minute. It took
I
them a
haven't
minute to get rid of a. There was a thing in our neighborhood. It was like a big old like kind of like
a
homemade
crazy
wood.
person tower with lights.
No, it was more of
Okay,
a
good.
like a homemade garbage, like like those garbage cans, but like the big ones.
Sure. Sure.
Someone
Like
made a homemade one, and, people just
like a dumpster.
yeah, like a dumpster. It was a homemade dumpster, and people would just throw like boxes and stuff there, and it was literally there for like over like a year and a half or 2 years, 3 years maybe.
Was anybody emptying it?
Yeah, so they would take someone would take the boxes and then
Yeah.
would take them away. I don't know. I don't know where he would take them, but
That's
they took them.
enterprising. That's an enterprising young
Yeah,
man that did that. Good
yeah,
for them. Good for them. So
yeah.
Buffy knows it's the tower. She's going to go over there. Now, Razor is going to grab Tara. He's going to whip
Hmm.
out those knives. Uh, Willow says a quick spell. He tries to slash her. They shatter, which has got to be humiliating for a guy named Razor.
Yeah,
What are they gonna call him now? They're gonna call him
finger
Nubs. I'm gonna call him
nubs.
Nubby.
Yeah,
Good
definitely a
job.
nub.
Good job, Nubby. Now, he does the patented throat grab and lift Willow
Always.
up. Patented. This is where Tara puts an axe in his back. He goes,
Damn right.
yes.
Damn right.
Her very first axing.
And everyone was very proud of her.
Why
I was proud of her. I
Why
was proud of her.
wouldn't they? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic stuff. Buffy gets somehow to the top of the tower here. This is where the reminiscing starts. Like,
Hmm.
let's think back to the last time I was here. It's basically the very last thing I ever did
Just
in
jump
my
off.
life. Yeah. Dawn has made it up there too. Somehow she knew if Buffy was alive before anything else, she'd be at this tower. So runs up there. She wants to really know if that's her sister. She sees that she's acting a little untamed.
Hmm.
Out there, a little maybe I wouldn't say feral, Buffy, but not quite right. The tower's creaking and shifting and stuff like that. Buffy's looking over the edge. Dawn's gonna start reminding about her who she is and stuff like that, and informs her it's best she come over there where she is, so they can get out of this tower.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little shaky. Turns out crazy people don't construct the safest towers.
No.
It did its job. Let's say this: it did its
Yes.
job, and it's still been standing for a while. But it doesn't look like anybody else was dumb enough to go over there. Dawn wants her to say something, anything at all. Buffy finally says a sentence, and she wants to know if it's hell, if she has been brought wherever she was and put into hell. And Dawn says, no. No, hell? That's pretty a hell of a thing to say to someone. So you said you're with me here, and we gotta get out of here. Like this tower. What do you want? What do you
Mm-hmm.
want with it? Buffy tells Dawn she remembers how clear everything became. Like when she figured out what she had to do, everything became so
Mm-hmm.
clear. She's gonna close her eyes now. Dawn is gonna start screaming at her nose, and she tells her she tried to be strong for all this. She tried to do what she wanted and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, but it's been too hard without her. She promises to do better. Yeah, this is it's a pretty touching thing when she starts saying it. If you stay, I'll promise I'll be better. She tells her she has to live, but this tower's had it. It's breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for some reason, there's a rope and pulley up at the top of this thing. Buffy snaps out of it, grabs Dawn, runs to the pulley, jumps at it. She goes down for a while. It stops about halfway for a second. Then you see a bolt break out of this thing, and they're gonna fall the rest of the way down. Buffy, as you remember last time when she was fighting Glory, took a fall from the tower before, landed on her back. She was automatically fine.
Mm-hmm.
This time, same kind of thing. She kind of lands on her side. Also, though, Dawn lands on her side. Dawn doesn't like land on Buffy for cushioning. She lands on her side, but spoiler alert, also fine. How does that is the biggest question for me, and something that
Mm-hmm.
isn't ever resolved. How she could just fall that far and just get up fine, not bruised or broken or anything like that. Anyways,
Well, they're
it,
not, regular human beings, both of them.
she's a Dawn is a regular human being. She wasn't originally, but she's a regular human being. Uh,
Are we sure about that, Rob?
well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We're sure about that?
There's some story. There's some story to go. So
Mm-hmm.
you could see them get out of where they were as soon
Mm-hmm.
as they dropped that platform, the plank or whatever falls down just as they get out of the way. Then you see the tower doesn't fall apart;
Mm-hmm.
it kind of implodes, which makes cleanup pretty simple.
Yeah.
You call those guys crazy, but they did a good job when it came to imploding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they hug each other there at the end. Dawn is, of course, happy that she's alive. Keeps telling her that she's home. The look that Buffy has on her face when she's saying this, as the
Mm-hmm.
episode ends, sets the mood for the entire season. So I highly recommend if you want spoiler alerts how the season's gonna go. Watch Buffy's face the last second of this episode. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
that's all for the season debut, the channel debut for UPN, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's bargaining. Next time, we're gonna find out that something hitched a ride with Buffy. Somehow we
Yeah,
didn't
man.
see it.
Because the whole the black hole, or the interdimensional hole, it was open for quite a bit. It was
Ma-
open for quite a bit.
There's always a cost with magic. There's always a cost. Now, also, Buffy's gonna let somebody there know just exactly where she thinks she's been. So the next episode's Afterlife will be covering it next time. We're here on the Buffy version of Rewatchers Cancel. Fares with Donna. You're up to, I think, 40 shows on the network. Why don't you
I
tell
think so.
people what you're up to coming up?
Um, Tomorrow, me and Adelia and Rob, I'll be on shows with them. 3 o'clock Pacific, we're doing Angel. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific, we're doing Good Friends, Better Rivals. And then at 7 o'clock Pacific, me and Adil will be coming with The Pulse, the sports version of The Pulse.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout for that.
Maybe there'll be a little CFL training camp news. I doubt it.
Maybe.
Rewatch is canceled back tomorrow. Heartthrob, the season 3 premiere of Angel. The first Angel episode to air before a Buffy episode, I believe. Angel, I believe, airs Mondays and Buffy Tuesdays on competing networks now. So it's going to be getting used to it. And it also aired, I think, 2 weeks or at least a week before this episode did. So they don't even care about that stuff anymore. Over on the sports channel, Good Friends, Better Rivals. I'll be talking English Premier League with Adelia. Maybe Fares, depending on what happens this weekend.
Depending.
We'll have a look. It's been an interesting thing. Big win for Villa today. Sets up the possibility of a 6th team getting into the Champions League through England, which is absolutely bananas. And Wednesday, Ryan Christensen and I, your pal and mine, Ryan Christensen, will be talking a little playoff hockey on Playoff Beards. Wednesday, live at 7 o'clock. It'll be live Tuesday for starting 11, by the way, as well. 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. So there you are. Guys, thank you all so much for joining us here. A little supersized episode of Rewatchers Council today. In the words of that naughty boy Razor, please like and subscribe. We'll see you all again next time.